Hi, I'm Mark Ashton, founder of high performance consultancy Resolve Gets Results. And this video is one of a series dealing with the framework that I use in order to analyze the performance of companies, make recommendations, and then help them carry those through to create sustained high performance. And the framework is VBSID, which is vision, behavior, strategy, innovation, and delivery. And this video is about innovation. The word innovation is overused in business, and it means different things to different people. But to me, it's a very simple definition. To innovate means to constructively disrupt your own business. And Mark Randolph, the founder of Netflix, said that if you do not disrupt your own business, then somebody or something is going to do it for you. Whenever I'm tackling business problems, I look at them systemically. In other words, I look at the symptoms, the obvious symptoms, and then I seek to trace those back to underlying root causes. And inevitably, because businesses are human systems, there are going to be significant human factors at play. And normally what that boils down to is fear and threat, because those are the primal instincts which drive human beings most often. So for example, 70% of our thinking is negative and repetitive. So innovation means change. And change is usually associated with uncertainty and pain. And it's a neurological fact that emotional and social pain goes through the same circuits in the brain as physical pain. And therefore, we seek to avoid it. So owners and leaders of businesses will seek to avoid pain when they're making change, and employees will seek to avoid pain. Now, if you learn how to harness the positive forces of change correctly, then actually change, innovation becomes quite exhilarating. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, it's essential that you are open, that you show trust and you build trust, and that you engage people at the front line to understand, listen, and discover what are the real issues, and also discover the ideas that those people have for making improvements. Now, they will not tell you unless there is an environment of psychological safety, unless they trust you, unless they feel that you have their best interests at heart. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't going to be any difficulty and pain for them, but the more honest you can be, the better. Earlier in my career, I trained in lean thinking, which comes from the Toyota production system. And was developed in the 1950s by Toyota, and it was what propelled them into being the world's #1 car company. Now, unfortunately, lean techniques have acquired a bad reputation in Western economies because they've been used as a blunt instrument for cutting costs and therefore getting rid of people. But the way lean originated was that Toyota had a major problem during a recession in the 1950s. And they basically told the workforce that they would have to make big changes, and the workforce went on strike. And one of the main reasons was because Toyota were using these techniques of continuous improvement, and the workforce felt threatened. Eventually, Toyota negotiated a deal with the workforce whereby people came back to work on the basis that there would be no job losses at all as a result of the implementation of the continuous improvement techniques. Now, how did they do that? They did that by empowering the workforce at the front line to make changes, which created efficiencies and reduced costs. And what they then did was to reallocate people into other jobs and retrain them so there were no redundancies. And that built so much trust that the workforce got on board fully, and the rest is history, as they say. That's an example, and it's an example of how change also can be incremental. Innovation can be incremental. So in other words, it's a long series of small improvements, or sometimes it can be radical. But the underlying factors that create successful innovation are the same. They are the human factors, and it's about building trust and engagement and creating an environment of psychological safety. If you want to talk about any of this, I'm always open to informal conversations. My email address is mark.ashton, A-S-H-T-O-N, at resolvegetsresults.com. So please get in touch.